Welcome back. Hope all is well. Salutations. My name is Wayne. Let's talk some games. Newsflash, I just bought my first key card, The Adventures of Elliot and the Millennium Tales. Facts. And speaking of digital versus physical games, I feel like we need to stick to the main topic at hand, which is ownership and preservation rather than just having a piece of plastic or a piece of disc, you know what I'm saying? And naturally, I'm a sentimental person. Like, I cherish a lot of things, borderline hoard, because it means a lot to me. So having something tangible in my hands will always make that memory mean 4, 5, 10 times much more. And needless to say, with the transition to digital gaming, it's made those memories and those acquisitions of physical titles few and farther in between. But at the core of those memories, what mattered most to me as a child, as an adult, as a young adult, and even growing up now and moving forward, is having and owning those games. Not the plastic, not the cases, the software, the games themselves, because that's what I went out of my way to experience, because that's the art, the game itself. To give y'all a little background, I was born in 97. So I got to watch the tail end of like being outside and the integration of internet and social media like come into play in real time. So my prime gaming years were in the transition of going from physical to digital media. So going all digital was never a surprise to me at all, not in the slightest. Practically speaking, it made sense to me. And when I say I'm sentimental, I mean it. And video games have always meant a lot to me. I've stayed out for countless midnight releases, Ninja Storm 3, Dream Drop Distance, Pokemon, time and time again. Like, I really appreciate the culture. And even in that side of it, what we're missing out on going into digital, you really meet and chop it up with people that have the same interests, like outside real life. And that's something that might be lost to history all in due time, but trust, kids and the youth will always innovate and figure out their own ways to build the culture around the tools that they're given. That's kind of how life goes and progresses. So I believe the biggest focus should be the ownership. Despite it being physical or digital, as long as you have ownership and it can't be taken away once the money or currency is exchanged for what's given, like, that should be that. It's a game. It's that simple. So why did I buy a game key card? First and foremost, because I'm a man that practices what I preach. And before I give you advice, I'm going to apply it to myself to make sure I can at least optimize it before I give it out. So let me explain. These memory cards are expensive, and Final Fantasy is a big game, even on Switch 2. But Nintendo is good for keeping up their servers. Even to this day, you could re-download your already purchased 3DS and Wii games, right? Cool. I right now have a 256 memory card dedicated strictly for Final Fantasy. That is clearly not enough because each game is a minimum of 90 gigs. Now this memory card is in a case sitting next to 3 physical games, Jump Force, Breath of the Wild, and No More Heroes 3. Now anytime I remove one of these cards and put it inside my Switch, I am able to play what is ever on these cards. In Wayne's World, practically speaking, that is physical for me personally. Now back to Elliot. There were 2 demos. Early last year, they dropped one called the debut demo, and more recently, they dropped the prologue demo that transfers your save data, right? Now, the debut demo was a virtual game card, and I deleted the game card and I re-downloaded it, even though the game card is delisted. I'm assuming because that virtual card is tied to my account. My account has the key. But now with the Adventures of Elliot, I want to give it a try because all 3 of those Final Fantasy games are not fitting on that little memory card. And I'm not dropping more bread for another microSD express card. Adventures of Elliot, I'm able to re-download the virtual game card. All right, cool. So as long as I have this physical key to that game, I should be able to re-download it regardless of delisting in XYZ because I have the keys. I got the keys. And I can only speak on what I know, and given by their proven track record, Nintendo's good for letting you re-download your software, unlike a lot of so I don't really got nothing to say about that. And the reason Adventures of Elliot is my test guinea pig is because as much as I love Octopath Traveler 0, that game had me in a chokehold crazy. I'll forever give it its flowers. Best game of 2025, low-key sleeper, for real. But Adventures of Elliot, playing through it and stuff, I wouldn't be sad if I do miss it. So if this experiment goes wrong and one day I can't get it back, I'm not going to miss it. But as far as prepping it for Final Fantasy VII Revelations, that's going to be whether the decision if I get it fully on card, game card, or get it full digital and then move one of the other games to a key card. You know what I'm saying? But that's the decision for future Wayne. The discussions that I care about presently in preparation for that is the ownership of those digital games, because whether the license key or the digital copy XYZ, once I exchange money for this, I expect to have what I paid for in perpetuity, period. The only rights that I feel should be on those terms of service that even give some way of my ownership or whatever should be banning me from multiplayer in case I like hack or cheat or do something crazy where I'm interacting with either your online server or with the larger community as a whole. But especially for single player games, you're bugging out, dog. These are my books, my library. I paid you. Leave me alone. Now, that's why I believe the due diligence turns onto the consumer to decide how you're going to store and collect these games yourself. But once you paid for this game, this good, this piece of art, that's it, dog. No strings attached. We're not on multiplayer live service games. We're not talking about none of that. And as far as terms of service, the only terms of service that should really be there is that once this game dies or the company gets dissolved, XYZ, God forbid something happens to this game, release the code, give it to the people that paid for it at least, because what else is the community thriving? How many times in times of examples we have to go through games that have been shut down or XYZ, but there's a whole underground community supporting and really building their own off of it. Give them the code, feed the people, especially if it's some old IP y'all not doing nothing with. Y'all doing remasters of everything else, and then y'all want to turn and shut down and like sue XYZ. Hire the talent, use them, ask the community, tap in and remake the things the people want. Why not? Y'all already wasting money. That's another conversation. We ain't even got to go into that right now.